Hello everyone, my name is Reem Ahmed. I'm part of the TSP team from Nile.com. So today we'll be talking about some business challenges that we face daily in any organization, and we'll be discovering how System Center Family together with the private cloud capabilities can help solve these business challenges. Our scenario for today is called automatic provisioning. So we'll be talking about how we can automatically provision resources for our employees and our users in the organization. To do this, we'll be talking about products crossing the three layers of System Center Family. So from the services management layer, we'll be talking about Service Manager. From the orchestration layer, we'll be using Orchestrator. And finally, from the management layer, we will be using Configuration Manager. Simply, our scenario for the day is we have an HR administrator, and this administrator has hired a new employee. The common scenario in any organization is that the HR administrator will go to the IT admin and tell him that a new employee is hired, so please provision the necessary resources for this employee, such as the Active Directory account and the Exchange mailbox and so forth. System Center helps automate this process in order to offload the IT admin from these redundant processes. So what we will do today in the scenario is that we will offer the HR administrator with a self-service portal from which he can request to provision a new employee. In this request, he will enter the employee's details, and after submitting this request in Service Manager, the request will initiate an orchestrator runbook, and this runbook will create an Active Directory account for the new employee. Also, it will add him in an Active Directory group based on his department. Then the runbook will create an Exchange mailbox for this employee, and finally it will add him in the Configuration Manager in a user collection group based on his department in order to be able to provision the software that matches the department the user will be working in. So this is simply our scenario for the day. Now let's see this scenario in action. As we said that the first thing we will do is for the HR user to log into the self-service portal. For the sake of demonstration, our HR user is called Reem, so we'll sign in with her account. Nile.com lab, this is our demo lab. After signing into the self-service portal, we'll be expecting to see the service offering dedicated to this HR administrator. So as you can see here, that the HR administrator has access to the hiring employee services. If we click on it, we can find that the HR administrator can either disable an employee user account or provision a new employee request. So for today, we'll be provisioning a new employee as mentioned before. Let's assume that we have a new employee that's called, for example, Ahmed Omar. Okay, so we'll say the username Ahmed Omar, first name Ahmed, last name Omar. Department assignment, as you can see here, we have 3 departments. Let's assume that we'll add him in the sales department, and of course these fields can be customized according to the organization needs. New fields can be added, some fields can be removed based on what we really need from the employee details. Here let's enter the employee email address, ahmed.omar@nile.com/lab.local, which is again our domain in the demo environment. Here this is a summary for the request we're just about to submit. Then let's submit this request. After the request is submitted, an ID is created for this request. This ID here is 2661. So let's go to Service Manager and check if the request has been properly submitted. If you go here to Service Manager console, in all open services, you can just refresh. And now we can see that this request that we have just submitted has been successfully submitted, and it's currently in progress. If we open this request, we can see the activities included in this request. Here in our scenario, as we mentioned before, that this request will trigger an orchestrator runbook. Of course, these activities can be edited and can be customized based again on the organization needs, so we can add other activities, not just the orchestrator runbook. So let's go and check if the orchestrator runbook is running correctly. It's currently running. and it's at the state of enabling the user. Basically what this orchestrator runbook does, as we've mentioned before, is that it takes the data from the submitted request, create a user in the Active Directory and enable this user, then add him in an Active Directory account, group based on his department. Then it will enable him for an Exchange mailbox and send him an email. Why send him an email? Because in our scenario and in our demo environment, we've implemented a virtual desktop infrastructure with a pool of VMs. So we send this email at the creation of any new user in order to give the new employee the URL by which he can access this pool of VMs. Okay? Then back to the orchestrator runbook. After sending this email, the orchestrator will go to the configuration manager in order to add this new employee in a user collection group, so that when he opens the VM that he has access to, he can find the software package that is provisioned to him based on his department. Okay? So we've submitted the request, we've checked on the orchestrator runbook. So let's check if the user has been successfully created in the Active Directory. As you remember, the username is Ahmad Omar, and you can find that it has been successfully created. We can further check if it has been added to the sales group, and yes, it has been added to the sales group. Next thing we can check on is if an Exchange mailbox has been successfully provisioned for this user, and in order to do that, we will open the OWA or the Outlook web app, and then we will log in with this new user or new employee. Of course, you have to excuse the performance issues because this is just a demo environment. In a production environment, it will be so much faster. As we said, the user is ahmad.omar at Nile.com lab.local, and the password, sign in. So you can see that an Exchange mailbox has been successfully provisioned for this user, and an email has been sent with the URL for the VDI infrastructure that we've talked about. We can click on this URL. It's supposed to open the remote desktop web access login page by which the user can log in and view the VMs that he has access to. Here we will enter the username. Again, it's ahmad.omar at Nile.com lab.local, Nile at 123. Let's just click sign in. After opening, you can see that this user has access to the Nile.com pool of VMs. If we click on this VM, it will contact the RD broker, okay, or the remote desktop broker, in order to see if there are any VMs that are currently available so that the user can log into. Nile.com lab.local, Nile at 123. So it's currently connecting to the VM. Okay, so till that step, we've created a request on the self-service portal. After submitting the request, we've checked the orchestrator runbook, and then after the runbook has started running, we've went to the Active Directory in order to make sure that an account has been created for this new user. Then we've logged into the Exchange Outlook web app in order to see if an Exchange mailbox has been also created. And then now we are logging into the remote desktop web access in order to have access to the VM that the user can use at Nile.com lab.local, Nile at 123. Okay. Again, you have to excuse the performance issues. This is just because it's a demo environment. And as you can see here, that the user can log into one of the VMs available in the Nile.com pool. Okay. here we are. The user can use this VM and create applications, documents, whatever he wants on this VM. Now what we can check is if the software has been provisioned to this user based on his department or not. In order to do that, we will go to the client, which is called Software Center. This is the configuration manager client installed locally on the VMs in this pool. Then we will view the software that are available for this user. Okay. As you can see that Microsoft Office Excel Viewer has been successfully installed for this user, okay, because he is in the sales department. So this is basically our scenario for the day. Let's just recap briefly. The HR user will go to the self-service portal, submit a request. After the request is submitted, the new employee is created in the Active Directory, added to the Active Directory group, and then an Exchange mailbox is provisioned for him with the URL to the pool of VMs that he can access. When he accesses the virtual machine that he has access to, he can find the software that is installed for him based on configuration manager configuration. Okay, so thank you.